Pascal Turk from CP, and we have also other speakers, and I will get back to that and to introduce them in later on. We have run a first set of webinar beginning of October for sales and tech sales. This one is the first enablement webinar, so specifically for tech sales, even so people, but as you may guess, so this will be really centered and focused on demonstration, how to demonstrate and understand the technical value of the 3D PLM experience PLM Express. And then what we'll be showing you. So the introduction, this is exactly what I'm doing now. Then Frédéric Merceron will introduce all the technical value and the 26X news capabilities as an overview. And what we want to have during that webinar, sorry, it's a kind of a Q&A session between each of the different slots that you can see here. Therefore, you'll be asked to ask questions with a chat, I believe. And then there will be a live demonstration on the mechanical engineering for T&M suppliers, followed by the second Q&A session. And then Simulia, so simulation for designer, still live demonstration, followed by the Q&A session again. And then we will be wrapping up that webinar. So all in all, it's about a little bit less than 2 hours. What I need to do also, but I believe that's also basically I'm going to spend 5 minutes to introduce the 3D experience PLM Express. I believe that most of you already have been introduced with this, either with the former webinar we've been running, or using the different information and channel of information we are using. Speaker. So my name is Pascal. So there will be Manik, Ash, Ketan, Andreas, and Frédéric for all the demonstration and the value articulation part, right? Okay. So PLM Express in a nutshell, it's I still need to hide some screen. Sorry. So really, we put that and we introduce that for you guys, for the mid market and our partners. This is really for cutting business time, and as well save time and money and secure long-term profitability. So I won't enter in that kind of detail right now. What I want to do is to look at the. Sorry, I just have a small problem. Okay, that's fine. To look at the real offer as it is today. So we are articulating the 3D Experience PLM Express around 4 different pillars. The first pillar around the product virtual twin, second systems virtual twin, and factory and organization virtual twin. And this webinar will be focusing on the 2 first, which is a design, which take form on the design engineering and design simulation engineering. So now, if we are looking at the proper term of these different bundles, so we have a first bundle on the design engineering, a second bundle which is a design engineering on top of which we are putting the simulation tools. So this is a design and simulation engineering. And again, so we'll be focusing on those 2 first pillars. And during Q1 and Q2 next year, we'll be introducing as well the manufacturing engineering. Governance and lifecycle management have been already introduced as a new role beginning of November, so a week ago, for which so there's already an enablement that is running. But again, what we want to do today is to really focus on the design and simulation. So looking at the bundles, again, you still have design engineering, design simulation engineering, which are based on the CATIA roles plus ENOVIA roles on top or as a base. For the design and simulation engineering, there is a CATIA and Simulia, with also the Innovia part that is coming with all the different bundles, as you can see. So we'll be covering again those two first. And well, I think one important key point is to understand what's behind those different bundles. So I'll take the first, design engineering. So it will be made up of three different offers: the CATIA Mechanical Essentials, the CATIA Engineering Master, and the CATIA Engineering Elite. Same for the design and simulation engineering, which will be coming with the same principle on naming. So CATIA Mechanical Simulation Essential, and as you may guess, so the Master and Elite. So having in each of those different pack, so Essential, Master, Elite, all the different roles that will made up of for this pack. I believe so. Frederic, Andreas, and the team will get back on that during the demonstration. Okay, so I will finish with that slide. So I know to whom I'm speaking. So this is real number. First, this is real number, as you can see. So this is a great opportunity for our client and customers to really go on the productivity aspect, particularly with the introduction of AI, as Frederic, Andreas, and the team will be showing up. Well, I will let you read up to 10% less project design iteration, 60% increase in innovation design capability. Of course, so this doesn't demonstrate all those numbers are not in each scenario, these numbers, but this is something that we can observe on few demonstrations, on few scenario, and I think so. Frederic will get back on that. So just to conclude on that first introduction, we are going to focus on two main packs, so bundles: the design engineering and the design and simulation engineering, each with two different demonstration, live demonstration. And I believe that is the time now for passing the ball to Frederic.
Thank you, Pascal. So let me share my screen with the sound. Why I cannot select the sound?
We are hearing you.
Yeah, no, but I cannot select the sound of my computer. I don't know why. Okay, well, let's start. Okay, so I will start with some few things on the technical value, but mainly introducing, I know what is contributing in the 26.6 to this package. Let me just remind you, basically the package themselves, what is included. So here we have identified the main application, not all, but really what we think is important to remember that are contributing to each of this package. So basically in mechanical essential, you will get everything with part design and things that you get usually with MDG. That will be augmented in a master with application to do static simulation, but also to do tolerancing and motion, which is, by the way, now in 26.6 using the same technologies than SIMPAC. You know, we completely change the technology behind the kinematics, and then which is also augmented with a Elite, with everything related to advanced surface modeling, manipulation, and so on, like V2R, digital shape, and all of things that basically you get in MES and F3S usually. On below that, what is important is that not only you get all the platform capability to manage, issue, change, to do review, manage product structure, and so on. What you get also is the capability to do project management with project planning, also capability to manage the BOM with release engineer, so and I will come back on that, to have really a good integration for CATIA users to also manage and deliver the release BOM. And also we introduce the iterop capability to do workflow management with low code, no code capability in that environment. So we'll not cover that today, but we may have some dedicated session on that. And what is new on top of that, you see on the two new applications that I put in light blue on the top, that are what we call the Plus application, which are specific to 26.6, and I will come back on that. And they are only available in the Elite. And as you can guess, they are integrating a lot of AI capability. But I will come back on that. And when we go to simulation, basically, we just add on top of this package, because it's really simulation again for designers, some capabilities starting from standard linear simulation, with also advanced simulation to do more advanced parametric design studies and non-linear simulation, and up to multiphysics with a fluid and plastic injection. And I think Andreas will come back on that in more details. But what is really important is that this package are really aggressive in terms of content and of price, and are really dedicated for designers. Going into the value, basically articulating the value in front of customer and also for you, we have three main pillars. The first one is on top of best-in-class capabilities that we provide already with CATIA, with also the capability to do parametrization, automation, a lot of things that were existing and had been improved in CATIA 3D experience. We are also taking benefit of AI to add even more productivities on non-added value task, reducing the click, having more and more generative modeling, and I will come back on that. And also in terms of pure click through what we call intelligent commands. And all of that, and we think just the beginning, will give more time really to designer to be more creative and to really focus on innovation and less on pure modeling. On the second pillar, it's also to be able to do the design right the first time. Right the first time, taking into account some performance with performance simulation, and this is why we have also all this simulation capability here, but also integrating all the manufacturing process and rules in the design. And this is also augmented with new capability to be able to, for example, automatically detect and identify and create semantic surfaces during assembly process. On top of which, it's easier to build tolerancing, motion, multi-bodies, and so on, and really take benefit of the full generation of 3D master based on this automatic generation of this connection surface. And much more that we'll come back on later. And then finally, it's all about collaboration. The benefit of this package is that it provides all capability for CATIA designers to manage their data up to very large data, something that we cannot do with CATIA V5, for example, in terms of loading, in terms of performance during loading. I didn't mention that in my next slide, but we have increased a lot the performance in loading with new capability to do review, to be able, of course, to reuse. I was mentioning one tool, one solution to manage the CAD product structure to do modeling, but also the BOM capability to add quantity, material, alternative part, and so on, and basically to be connected to ERP and manufacturing process. Also project management, which is also improved with AI to do prediction. And of course, everything which is used on a day-to-day basis to manage the life cycle, the version, the branching, the document, the issues, the change, and so on, and to do collaboration. So all of that is packaged in this three. And on top of that, we have also Andreas some simulation capability or simulation value.
Yes, we do. And for the smallest package, we're in the end adding up a standard license, which we're using and intending for designers anyways. It's allowing us to do linear simulations for structures and discovering basically the most common requirements you're interested in during the design phase. Like what's my eigenfrequency, what's my displacement, where are stress peaks, where are hotspots. In the middle package, we're then taking a next step. So we're really allowing to create basically any model from basic applications to very high end. And we're supplementing that with credits on the cloud to really drive burst computing. So if you're a designer, you want to have quick results, quick turnaround times, you're not going to wait forever. So we can accelerate it with the HPC. And of course, intended for occasional use. Last but not least, it's going to be orchestrated or managed in a certain way. So making the connection from requirements to test data management, meaning if I have a requirement, I want to make sure I can fulfill it. And that's what we're including in the middle package already. And then we have the big package, which is on the CATIA side, extremely enhanced with AI and ML capabilities. And as we're freeing up a lot of time in the end, we're seeing with more and more customers, and Honda is one of them, who publicly stated we want to develop cars in half the time with half the staff. Supplementing the design elements with different simulation capabilities from advanced structures over plastic injection, over fluids. So whatever the KPIs of my product are, I can check them all. I have the capabilities. And in terms of user adoption, we're supplementing that on the one hand with our AI companions like Aura, where I can ask, how can I do this? We're extending in the future for these companions to even create models for me. And these packages are laying the foundation. And for the as is, for the now, we can use templating, we can use physics methods reuse to really put the workflows in the hands of designers and have them designing in context, meaning I do a design change, I just rerun the simulation without having to be an expert in how to set up the simulation itself.
Thank you, Andreas. So on top of all this value, remember that this package are available only on the cloud, which is aligned with our strategy, but which is also aligned with where our customers are going to. It provides, of course, a reduction of capex of investment in terms of hardware, with the flexibility basically to scale as they need. But not only, it's also a very competitive solution to ensure the security of their solution. With all this cyber attack everywhere, and the last one where we had a large customer, Jaguar, was really, really painful. And Jaguar actually at this time used the cloud to mitigate their attack. So it was really a performance for them. But also in term of pure performance, Andreas was talking about simulation. If you want to scale in term of CPU and just capacity to do simulation here, basically you have a very flexible environment. And last not least, but you should really insist with customer, is that all of that is fully certified. And for many RFP, RFQ, especially for TNM and aerospace, they required, if they are working for defense in aerospace, for example, the SecNum certification. Our cloud is certified, so they get it for free, or for transportation mobility, the TISAC certification, which is issued initially from Germany, which is extending in all Europe, which is mandatory, to be able to answer the RFQ. So it's really something that would cost them a lot if they have to do that by themselves. So in terms of pure technical value, we have developed, and you will find that in my offer in the presentation, a lot of material, and especially we have one slide for each of the values that we mentioned with Andreas, with each time a video and content and so on that you can reuse in front of customers. So of course I will not review that with you today. It will take too much time. What I really would like to take benefit is to highlight how 26 is contributing, and I will just highlight some few things today. I will highlight sketch constraints. I will highlight resilient modeling, and then the plus application. And all of that are really contributing to the productivity and the robustness of the engineering, even starting with the essential package. So, for example, you know Sketch. Since now one release, we have introduced the capability with AI, which has been trained on a set of really industrial data, to do automatic sketch constraints in the right way. What you see here on the left is without that, and on the right is the same capability with the AI train environment. So, which is much powerful and much more efficient, as you can see. But then in 26.6, we also introduced some improvement. For example, in terms of positioning, here each time you see on the left before and then in 26 CGA, you see the annotation as much more perfectly positioned, removing formatting click and time, by the users to reposition everything. All of that is coming basically in the right position, and also it's based on training on industrial data. Same thing also for over constraint sketch, which happens often when you are designing. Here, the AI will help you to identify very quickly which constraints you can remove or deactivate to get a consistent sketch which is correctly parameterized and that you can modify after. So again, here you have sketch which are still manageable by some people, but when it's become very, very complex, sometimes it's very difficult to can spend time to optimize your sketch here. So two things that are really improving what was already available in 20 and 25X. In terms of resilient modeling, we have also, resilient modeling is all contributing to the robustness of the design and basically to improve the success path when you are doing update of your design, when you are modifying some parameters or geometry and so on. And that happens by sequencing different strategy one after one. When you get an error, basically you can define some smart reroute or ignore the input, if it doesn't challenge your design, or adapt the value of your parameters automatically, or just go through the update and even get a partial result and so on, So all of that has been proven to be very, very effective up to now, but it has been also improved in 26.6. So one of the tool here is a design helper. It's an interactive tool which is really guiding and helping like a companion to the designer to automatically help him to select either the best geometry or the best parameters that will contribute to make the modeling more robust during update. Sometimes you select an edge where you should select a feature or this kind of thing. So here the helper is doing that for you and providing that in real time to the designers, and also helping you by providing the right strategies that are introduced in the design when you are doing the modeling, and that would be activated when you are doing the update. That has been improved again in 26.6 with some small UI capability in terms of visualization, also in terms of stability, in terms of orientation. This is usually a big source of update error, when a surface or anything is changing the orientation. So here it's also improved during that, and also provide some diagnostics directly at the level of the feature when you are working. So it's really in terms of productivity and understanding, of what you are doing, very helpful. Here it's an example also which is combining the resilient modeling capability with design spec checker, which is coming with a new role with TED. But you will see, it's a very good examples of how that's helping. So here you have basically a part where you see when you are using the design spec checker with different modification of parameters, it's going right. Then on top of which you add a fillet, and here you see that it's much more worse in terms of pass. And what we do here is that in the fillet, we introduce this robust design capability by saying, okay, now for the fillet, you can change the parameters and adapt the parameters. So in terms of value, so that the fillet will be much more robust. And you can see here that we reach almost 100% of the update. So it's all of the small things, that are quite robust and powerful, that really can change a lot the work of our users, because not only updates are going better, but you can then improve your modeling processes by associating design space checker, for example, to reduce the weight or improve the performance through simulation and so on, by having a more robust design. So really, the more robust design open a lot of doors in terms of optimization for our designers. Another good things which is coming with Elite package is two applications, one for part, one for generative shape design, that are packaging new things. And these new things are modules, interface management, intelligent command, and a dedicated navigation bar. So let's start first with module. So the modules, really, it's something which has been developed since some time now, but which was only available in concept world. That really concept solution, that is now available for everybody. So basically, by defining modules and interface, you can connect different parts of your design through something which is much more stable and much more reusable. For example, in that design here for the front wing of Formula One, we define some modules for the flaps, for the F-web, and so on, and we're able to connect them all together just using the interfaces. So in terms of concept, it's quite intuitive. It changed a little bit the way you need to think your design, because you need to think upfront the modules and how they will be connected. But then in terms of usage and reusability, and again, modification and robustness, is much more efficient. Of course, you can reuse this module as some template and instantiate them directly in your design, and the connection based on this interface that are having some semantic actually will be done automatically. And of course, once you have done this design, you can change them very quickly. So it's on the Formula One, but it applies to any kind of product. The second element is a command intelligence. So also it has been trained on a huge set of industrial data, and basically what it does is that it provides in context through AI the prediction in terms of what command usually the user will select, but not only which subtypes or parameters that he will set, and he will do that for you. So of course, the first thing is that it removes the navigation through all the different commands and so on, because it provides that directly in the context of what you are doing. So this is really really intuitive and really efficient when you get used to that, because you go very, very fast in terms of selection. Then after, also inside the command, you have the completion, which is done automatically. The subtype, the definition of the geometry, the parameters, and so on are automatically pre-filled and can be modified, of course, but pre-filled by AI based on what usually is done and so on. So it also it helps a lot. The selection also is done. And again, you remember, selecting feature instead of brep or this kind of things. All of that is done automatically. So you see, it's quite fast. So I was mentioning, sorry, the brep, of course. And then the behavior itself is also selected. So by doing that, you really improve a lot the productivity. Here, just a small example that we done also on the Formula One, but we have done many cases like that, just to show you that. In average, we estimate 30% gain in terms of pure productivity for the designers, just by using this command agent. So 30%, can be huge for people who are spending a lot of time in CATIA designing every day. So it's a good argument. And the last part of this plus command is just a simple, immersive navigation command that provide you really in the context of the 3D what are the most used in terms of manipulation of the view, manipulation of the geometry, be able to switch to the previous view, to the next views, and so on, and all of that in context. So it's always live, it's always there, it's always visible. And make the life easier. If for very old people like me, we were using some toggle with CATIA V4, with all of that with what predefined. Here is the same thing, but basically fully integrated in the design. So all of that basically is defining what we call the plus app, and it's also translate into some very merge menu in CATIA, where you get less tab, basically less tools, and all of that also in one set of commands that makes things much more productive. And here, just for your reference, where is it available? So basically in the Essential, Master, and Elite. So you see the plus are here. Generative constraints are everywhere. Resilient modeling also start everywhere. And design spec checker, of course, it's an additional role. But also we have some interesting things, I think, Andreas, for simulation.
Yes, we do. And by the way, the design space checker is part of all the Simulia roles, because we have our parametric design study in there. So in case a customer is interested in that, it might be another motivation to pick the simulation packages. Typically, if you're designing a product, you may have different requirements. And one of the requirements is obviously, is it manufacturable? What will be my fiber orientation? If it's a plastic injection molded part, do I get some weld lines, sink marks, whatever? And the very nice thing is you have a simple to use interface, and my colleagues will demonstrate it later on live. It's allowing me to investigate how the manufacturing behavior will be. And you can already jump to the next one. Another thing that most products have in common is we got to have some structural requirements. So things like eigenfrequency, what's my displacement under a certain load. And in the context of plastics parts, something that's very important as well is the manufacturing process will heavily impact the behavior of my product. So the fiber orientations, etc. In the end, show me what the final material properties will be. And the nice thing is we can very easily, after doing the plastic injection simulation, map the fiber orientation and consider it. This is a platform super easy because we're in the same data model, same user interface. If you're trying to do this with standalone tools, it's a pretty tedious process and requires an expert. Platform makes life much easier. And last but not least, we may be interested in the fluids behavior, or not specifically the fluids behavior itself, but things like what's my pressure drop to get understanding about the efficiency, what are flow rates I can get through that, what's the thermal behavior, do I get some hotspots? So rather basic investigations. And again, the role is meant to be used by designers. There's a nice guided workflow and gives you everything you need. Can compute on the cloud, no special hardware needed or anything. Just go for it, just do it. And once the model is defined, you can easily run parametric studies or update your geometry manually and just recheck what the behavior is and if you're meeting your KPIs.
Thank you, Andreas. And I think we'll see a lot of that during the demonstration. So, good time to switch actually to the demonstration. So we have two. We'll start with the mechanical one, and then we'll follow with the simulation. For the mechanical one, basically, it's a new demonstration that we launched in September. It's a pure cloud demonstration, which is the evolution of B2WIN that we have worked with Simulia, CATIA, and transportation and mobility. You can have access to it during in the 3D experience. So in the experience center, the name of the demonstration. If it would like to show me it correctly. Okay, no. Sorry. The name of the demonstration is just for you to remember, Mechanical Engineering for Transportation and Mobility Supplier. So really a full cloud demonstration, but where we can already do some authoring. So it's a demonstration that Manik will introduce that is available for sales as well. You know, you can encourage your sales guys to use it. It's a full cloud. There is nothing to install if they don't want to play with CATIA or Simulia. So they can show it. 2 minutes to get it, you know, no issues. But you can also do some authoring. It's the first time that in a cloud demonstration, you can manipulate either CATIA or Simulia model. We have developed some specific routine for that. And it's on the a la carte set of topics. You know, basically there is no end-to-end red wire. You know, you can go in every direction and really adapt what you are showing, for your customer. And CC Cloud is continuously improved with some new capability. The way it's organized, basically, you have two main, dashboard. I would say the one which is really talking about project management with APQP, so dedicated for TNM and aerospace, and the second one where we show everything about collaboration. You know. And then on top of that, you have some part design, quality, simulation, sequence, and use case that you can show in every order. So of course, the objective is to illustrate everything that I showed you before in 26.6, to provide you the best model and scenario and use case with everything scripted with the right speech and so on that you can play by yourself. But the best is, I think, is to go live. So Manik, do you want to take over to show it live?
Yes, Frederick. Okay. I'll share my screen.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Do I need to do something?
No, right. You see my screen? All of you?
No, let me stop. Yes, can see it. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, I'm directly in the demo environment. Before I go into demo, let me introduce myself. I'm Manik Kulkarni, based out of Pune, from Frederick's Knowledge and Know-how team. And I'm responsible for a team which develops the adoption assets for mechanical domain. Okay, so this is the demonstration which Frederick is talking about, mechanical engineering for T&M suppliers. So this demonstration has multiple dashboards, as mentioned by Frederick. It's a kind of a la carte which you can choose based on the your requirement. So I'll just take you a quick tour of all the demos, all the dashboards. So first two are about this is the scenario basically. Where the first step is about product and project governance, second is about collaboration, and step 3.1 and 3.2 are about CATIA and simulation ModSim. So this is the introduction dashboard where you see again the scenario focused about the collaboration between the OEM and tier 2 tier 3 suppliers. The objective of this demonstration is how suppliers can leverage 3D experience platform and accelerate their design, work on multiple projects seamlessly, collaborate with different stakeholders seamlessly using our platform. This is about the first dashboard. The second dashboard is about and then yes, for enabling tech sales people for demonstration purpose, we have provided tutorials which are audio based videos which people can replay and understand what they're expected to show in front of customers. Let me go to the second dashboard. In order to save time, I'm already loaded those dashboard. So this is the first dashboard which takes care of this scenario about project and planning governance. The objective of this step is to show how APQP templates can be standardized and leveraged using by suppliers in order to work on multiple projects seamlessly in order to ensure live tracking, monitoring, everything related to projects in one stop. So the second tab is projects. So the purpose of this tab is to know that the stakeholders can view of all the projects running parallelly, and then they can see the status, the risks associated with it. So currently I've selected one project which is dedicated to the site member of seat assembly. So the moment you click on the project, you get the details of all the projects about the count of tasks, the variance, and the which tasks that are running late, the deliverables associated to the projects. So even deliverables, if someone wants to open the deliverable and see what the deliverable, here I'm opening the drawing. Everything, I mean, the stakeholder or maybe basically managers need not to go into respective app to see. They can see all the documents live in the platform in the dashboard. Similarly, they can see the risk associated with the projects, the tasks that are getting late, risk, affected task, everything basically related to project at one place. Now standards and the standard tabs here, the purpose of this is to show how we can capitalize all the standard documents, standard parts in this IP and classify reuse app, which allows you to store all the documents or standard parts or any specifications under proper classes, so that here you see in the standards all the standard parts are which are used in any company are stored here. So it's basically, instead of duplicating all the standard parts everywhere in all the assemblies, the designers can reuse which is already stored in organized way in your classes under libraries. Third is about APQP template. APQP templates, basically based on the requirement, standardized templates can be made. This is out of the box template, and depending on the projects, the suppliers can instantiate multiple projects, do the specific modifications, and get started with the planning and live execution. So here, this is the project. Let me just show. So it takes care of all phases of your design, the project, and then the assignment is done to the respective stakeholders, the schedule. Here, it's basically project planning has been used. The stakeholders can see the task, and then schedule talks about the timeline, milestones, and then also if you select any task, you will see all the information related to task here. So which project it belongs to, what is the schedule, what are the deliverables associated with it. Then You can see if the checklists associated with are getting followed. You can customize that. Assignees. Comments can be used to collaborate related to task, and then to trace the overall project, the updates of the project, you can use this feature. Then here we have product structure. For example, now I have selected this task, and you see this basically product structure editor shows you the deliverables associated with the project, and then the moment you click, the respective part gets highlighted in the 3D compose. So the project, the respective deliverables, and the preview, everything available in one tab using this under the project governance. To conclude about this step, so the purpose here is that how can you leverage platform to accelerate the planning execution. It provides you the live tracking and then everything related to project available at one stop, which is this. Now I'll go to the second dashboard, which is about collaboration. So which takes care of second phase of the this scenario. The purpose is to show how you can use platform for collaboration, navigation, or to capitalize on data and related things. So the second tab is the collaborative room. Here you can see the multiple communities have been created to let the users know that they can use dedicated communities for collaborate to each other. They can create posts, they can provide ideas, they can use the ideation funnel to give scope for the innovation. They can ask questions to the communities. Now with respect to projects, they can capitalize, they can make dedicated communities to capitalize everything in order to be reused across the organization. How can a structured wiki can be created to capitalize everything? So if someone wants to know how to do some task, the wikis can be created. Then processes, same thing can be done there. So this was the purpose, to show how to leverage communities and then conversations. Now you can see in the demo we have not included Aura, but then in the upgrade definitely Aura will be essential part of it. Now in the basics of collaboration, issue management, when you are working on the projects and then whatever issues come to the respective projects, you can use this capability, this widget to see the issues related to any project. Issues, affected parts, the context or the root assembly it belongs to, the project it belongs to, everything related to the issues. Conventional way, or maybe in general, without having a platform in place, it would have been difficult to manage or track issues and then to use a different forum for communication to show the 3D part where the issues are. But then you see it makes it easy on the platform to see the issue, the affected part, and then how to proceed about it. Document management, this tab is dedicated to show how you organize your documents effectively, specific to project, specific to phase, and then it is basically storing your documents in organized way. Collaborative tasks can be used to, you can assign the task through platform, deliverables can be attached. Route management, if specific workflow is there, you can use that. Innovia relation, again, it's a very important feature to show anything related to your part with relations. See, so here you can see this is issue, the part related to issue, and then the documents or deliverables associated to the part at one place, the context it belongs to. So everything at one place. You go there and you can click and you'll be able to open. So this is the importance of using Innovia relations. Key takeaway to conclude, platform is one of the important tool to help you navigate, collaborate, innovate, and then accelerate all your communication accordingly. Now I'll move to the third dashboard, which is dedicated for CATIA. Here the authoring part starts. So before I go into CATIA, here is the quick tour of the dashboard. So introduction is the purpose is to see how a platform, basically 3D experience CATIA, can be leveraged to improve to achieve the high productivity gains, and then how to manage the design changes effectively using the, let's say, technique resilient modeling, which accelerates your product design. Again, designer being the important stakeholder of the project. This is basically a good example of how a typical dashboard a designer can have. Here, since the designer is part of the project, he can see tasks associated to the project. Then schedule, again the designer, a respective stakeholder can see the task associated to oneself and then he can proceed accordingly. Same same this task, this widget talks about the task associated to the person related to project or even non-related project task. Issue management is same. The earlier dashboard that we have seen, it was from, let's say, project manager who can see and create, assign the issues. And here, designer will be able to see the issues assigned to him, and then based on that, he'll proceed for the design modifications. So designer sees the issues and then he goes to the CATIA. From demonstration, you can directly go to the app and launch CATIA. But to save the time, I've already launched CATIA here. So now designer runs the interference checks and see the issues. So the designer, let's say, can see this part is clashing. And the second clash is here, which is between the back frame and the side member. Now we'll see how a designer can modify the part easily. Now, okay, so this part is, since this is a symmetrical side part, we'll work on the left part in which actual parametric design has happened. First, since this is a parametric design, he modifies the width of this side member. Okay, since this is symmetrical part, I'll update the root assembly. So you see this clash has gone. Now we'll work on this clash. So here you can see, since the profile is not good, it is clashing with this back frame. So this is the feature. Again, I'll go here. So you can see, I'll have to modify the sketch. So I'll erase the unwanted part. Now I'll create a fillet. Now the moment I modify the part, it's throwing me error because of this modification, some parts further in the tree are getting affected. Now in conventional way, it would have been, taken time to see the, go behind this update diagnosis and see how long it takes, which part is affected. Now here I'll use the design helper. It is telling me the draft feature is getting affected, and then it is telling what is the actual reason. Now, since there are certain parts which are getting affected, I'll use the resilient modeling. As mentioned by Frederick, it comes up with a lot of strategies, update strategies, and it applied to the parts which are getting affected. So there are multiple strategies to be applied. Just for an example, ignore parents in error means, for example, some parents are getting affected, they are getting error. So it has, let's say, shown error. But then if I select this checkbox, it will keep the the impacted parents for the as a deactivated for some time being. It will allow you to do the design modification to take care, and then later on you can work on the respective parent. Or similarly, let's say if the complete result is failing, with this checkbox, it will allow you to keep the the partial result working, and then you'll be able to take care of complete design. For the moment, if I select this, all the strategies get applied, because let's say being a designer, I may not know which strategy to apply. I'll select all of them, and then system will design the applicable strategy on the respective part. I click OK. So again, I see there is some other error, because let's say some other part is getting affected, some other feature is getting affected. So now I see the lower stamping is getting affected. Now if I click here, again it is basically helping designer where is the problem and what he needs to do, he or she needs to do. So I close it again. Now conventional way, I have to say where the lower stamping feature is and then do the needful. So this design helper also comes with the edit feature. It allows me to work on it. Now you see the it is coming as assistance to the user what he needs to do, he or she needs to do. If I click OK, so you see it is showing me I need to remove some face. I go to the respective field, I select the face, I click OK, and the work is done, right? So you can see the design changes has been properly taken care. So you can imagine the time it saves when it comes to taking care of errors when we want to design update something. Okay, so this is one of the key feature which we have got in terms of resilient modeling. Now I go back to my this mechanical engineering, the designer dashboard. So quality here, basically in any design before going to manufacturing, one needs to ensure the design is quality with good quality. It's error free. So I'll not replay the scenario here because I will go to the mod sim, but just to quickly there are some profiles you can create using some out of the box checks, and then it will check whether your design is crossing that criteria, and then if there is some issues, the system will automatically take care of certain issues, or it will direct to the issue to be taken care. So this is one of the key aspects of this demo to take care of quality. And the dashboard also talks about the key values that we deliver with the solution. Basically, it's all about improved efficiency, easy design changes management, centralized feature management, and resilient modeling being a key feature capability. Also, the wikis have been enriched here. So if you go to the wiki, basically for the demo sales people, if they want to know more technically about something, so wikis have been enriched so that this is the wiki. This is the community, and there the rules that we have, the roles that we have used, and the respective more information, and then knowledge base, like what is resilient modeling and how to update errors using that. So the information has been provided for sales people, sales and tech sales people. Okay, now I go to the mod sim scenario. So purpose here is basically CATIA designers may not be expert in Similia part, and then they would have a dependency on simulation engineer to run the simulation. But with the mod sim roles, the purpose here is to allow CATIA designers to run simulations seamlessly. We have again, before I go to the authoring part, so again similar to CATIA designer, a simulation, a typical good example of a simulation designer, maybe CATIA designer has been shown where the projects and the respective tasks have been used. Before I come to this tab, I'll go to the actual authoring window. So this is the part basically which we have modified. Now we'll run the simulation here using templates. So templates, basically a designer may not be available. It will be difficult for him to create the simulation parameters, apply the load conditions, boundary conditions and all. But then standard templates can be created for respective parts by providing the boundary conditions, load conditions properly, and then as a designer you simply needs to instantiate the template and run the simulation. So we'll see. So now I go here, I go to the model assembly app. model assembly design. Okay, so in the tools section, I have this template instantiation, engineering template instantiation command. I search for the template. A template has been already provided. You choose the template. When we choose the template, it simply asks us to select the part. Okay, so here I simply select a part which I need. I click OK. I just give choose the mechanical scenario creation app and I click OK. Then you see with this my simulation model has been already created, and then the mesh model is already created. All the load conditions have been already applied. The connection have been created. The publications have been created. This is my 3D part on which I have run the simulation. And then you can you can activate and then see everything is perfect. Now I simply need to run the simulation. I click simulate. You can choose the select tokens from either local or you can from the cloud, and then this is all default parameters. I click OK and it runs the simulation. So you can see, being a designer, it's very easy for me. I need not to have a simulation expertise. I get a template from simulation engineers based on my part, and then good to go to run the simulation. It doesn't take more than a minute to run the simulation.
Yeah, don't hesitate if you have any question. Here I think we're, after you get the result quite fast, actually.
Yes. So you see my simulation is run. I can choose the respective requirement. I can play the simulation. I change the plot and then I get to see the things, and then I can simply play the simulation. And then my work is done to check whether my part passes to the simulation criteria or not. You can export the results, and now I go back to the dashboard again here. Simulation results. So as a designer, I export the simulation results and I can share with the respective stakeholder who doesn't have a similar authoring stuff, and then he can see the simulation results. So this is, let's say, my simulation model, and then respective results. If I open, I see it here in the web format. I can play the simulation. And this is done. Similarly, I have done for the von Mises. So this is the very important thing with the platform we can do. The key takeaways which we want to show is accelerated simulation process with the template, very efficient, and even designers can leverage it to good extent. For demo purpose, those who want to run the replay the scenario, even the bookmarks have been used, so that for all three scenarios they can choose the respective bookmark, and then they can directly drag and drop this part to the authoring part. So that's it about the live demonstration. Feel free to have any questions. I'll stop my share. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Malik.
Yes.
Any question on the demonstration? So here we just show a small part. You know, the main thing is that you get a TNM environment and you get a lot of models that you can replay in this environment or on your own tenant with everything which is scripted and so on. And we'll update the model and provide many things in 26.6. There was a question. There was a few questions already. Maybe I can. Is it okay, Sandrine, if I answer them right now?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
Yes, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
So there is one question about the compatibility release, and I should say that this is a quite good question. So, by the way, we'll add in the demonstration by the end of the year a full sequence on exchange between OEM and suppliers that will be part of the demonstration. So what we acknowledge is that first, many people are exchanging just result, you know, between CATIA Experience and CATIA V5. Actually, up to 80-90% of the customer don't exchange specification. And you see that here you have a full compatibility done where, you know, if you have on 26.6, you can come back on even on V5 R21, which I'm not sure, you know, maybe just in few countries they are used, but not sure there are even people who are using that in production. So basically back more than 10 years in terms of release in export from CATIA 3D Experience to CATIA V5. Of course, if we are talking about specification, here you have one-to-one mapping almost between the CATIA V5 release and the CATIA 3D Experience release to exchange this data. What we will provide next year is also the capability to do a tenant-to-tenant exchange. You know, that will be very new. It means that if you have two customers who are using the cloud, by definition, they will be on the same level, of course, of CATIA and everything. And they will not have to export and re-import data. They will just be able to push information from a tenant to another one. So you can imagine that with this kind of capability, it will change a lot the way people will collaborate. And OEM are adopting this cloud portal basically to exchange with all their suppliers. So it means that OEM will manage their own, you know, if they are not on the cloud, they will manage their exchange between the cloud and their own installation. But for any suppliers, they will always work on the same level and last level of CATIA 3D Experience and Simulia. Specification. You have a question if specification manager include in the package? Yes, specification manager to manage material is included in the package and the associated app. There was a question also about the wiki that Manik showed. So basically, the wiki and the community is coming with a cloud tenant that you can order on the Experience Center. So it means that this is part of the demo. And the purpose of that wiki is really customer facing. You know, you can use the wiki to show additional video and things that are not in the demo, or you don't have to show it live in the demo. It's really all customer facing things that are provided in the tenant of the demonstration. Yes, it should be planned for the tenant-to-tenant exchange should be planned for second part of next year. There was a question about that. And again, you know, there is also a lot of new things that are already available and that will be part of a dedicated demonstration. You have technical package exchange, which is already available today. You have technical request also, which is new, which is available. You know, so a lot of new things. Maybe we may have a dedicated session on that. Any other question or anything you want to add, Andreas? Maybe on the simulation part, it's up to you. So,
not for the time being. I mean, we have a whole set of live demonstrations on the simulation part now.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so let's move to simulation with Mahesh, I think.
Hi, Frederick. It's Ketan. I'll start and Mahesh will then.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Ketan. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if you can see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's coming. Yeah, it's there. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So you are seeing my full screen, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Ketan. Today we are going to see a demo with CATIA engineering and simulation elite role. So how the designer can leverage all these simulation tools with minimal or no training and without the simulation expertise. So first we will address the challenges for the suppliers. So we all know the challenges for the OEMs, but these challenges become even more intensified for the suppliers. The reasons being obvious: high cost of building the physical prototypes. So industrial equipment component, TNM components requires the expensive tooling, highly skilled manufacturing. On top of that, each design changes forces the new tooling and rework, putting a significant cost burden on the suppliers. Then another challenge is performance evaluation of their parts and products. So OEM request advanced performance metrics like thermal, vibration, acoustic, flow performance, and whatnot. But the supplier often lack the testing infrastructure, so it is very difficult for them to manually log the test result, errors. So the data will be lost, and there will be lack of traceability. So this puts another big challenge for the supplier. And then uh, the third challenge could be the product variants, because industrial equipment or the supplier market often has like low volume but very high demand. So managing different product range like sizes, capacity, materials, operating condition becomes like very complex for the suppliers. And even they if they want to do the virtual validation, the inconsistency in the CAD practices, meshing issues, poor simulation quality leads to the unreliable result. Apart from that, sometimes they use the fragmented tools and workflows, so data transfer becomes more tedious, and the traceability may be lose somewhere in the process. So this can cause error and delays in the transferring the data from one tool. So with 3D experience platform and the ModSim technology, we are going to see how these issues for the suppliers can be addressed. So for that, we are taking example of the fan. So what could be the design challenges for the fan from the designer's perspective? So let's first understand the requirement. So designer must have ensure the fan delivers the right airflow um, um, without overheating the motor, because if the torque is underestimated, the motor can overheat or fail. If it is oversized, then it would be a wastage of energy. um, the another requirement could be the aerodynamics, because blade shape affects everything like pressure rise, noise, efficiency, power consumption. Even the slight change in the blade angle or curvature can completely alter the performance of the fan. So designer must balance the airflow, noise limit, the stall behavior, and the strength. So for that, he have to design a really good fan. So once he completes the design, there could be the manufacturing issues like Andreas mentioned. Um, there could be sink mark. Uh, there could be flow lines, weld lines. Um, Designer also have to ensure uniform wall thickness to avoid the like warpage and uneven shrinkage. So all those things needs to be considered. Then another challenge to have a proper strength and the durability, because if the blade is too thin, it's a risk of cracking or failure at higher RPM. If the blades are too thick, it could be heavy, expensive, and it could also reduce the efficiency. Sometime designers also have to ensure or put some fiber for the reinforcement uh, to increase the stiffness or directional strengthening. So he also have to think from that perspective. And every fan have a natural frequency. So if the operating speed matches these frequencies, then resonance would occur, leading to noise, vibration. So yeah, all in all, a designer's job is very difficult, and just by uh, doing some design work on the fan would not satisfy these requirements. So, to meet with this requirement, we are enabling designer to use the simulation tools um, very easily, very intuitively, and all these issues can be addressed through our 3D Experience PLM Express new offering. Uh, so that is CATIA Engineering and Simulation Elite, where we are providing three discrete roles: the fluid dynamic engineer, the plastic injection engineer, and structural analysis engineer. So with the available methodology of ModSim on 3D Experience platform, a designer can do all this multi-physics simulation and verify the performance of the fan in the design phase itself. So by doing this, we are empowering designers with the not not only with the CFD but also the plastic injection and structural simulation. We are enabling them to validate the aerodynamic performance, manufacturability assessment, strength and vibration analysis early in the design cycle. And with the ease of simulation setup, a guided workflow before even any prototype is made. So this can reduce the development time and makes the designer's job easy. So some of you might have a question: what is ModSim? So ModSim is a unified modeling and simulation approach where we have the complete CAD and CAE associativity on the 3D Experience platform. But on top of that, on the single model, you can define the three different workflows, three different physics to analyze the fan performance, to assess its manufacturability, and to know the structural integrity. So this mod sim is completely connected on the 3D Experience platform, and it has the uh, associativity and back traceability with the CAD at each and every time. So this also helps designer to do the parametric design exploration. Let's say he have the parametric model and he want to analyze the best design. So he can do the parametric design exploration, do the side by side comparison, and find out what could be the best design. So all those things we are going to see live. Um, so in the first workflow, what we are going to see is how a designer can evaluate the flow performance and obtain the best design for the fan. So for this, a designer has already created the parametric model, and he would just define the fluid simulation, look at the results, uh, do the parametric setup, and then find the best design. So here are the value initiative. You can find out about this role more on this value initiative. So now I'll just switch to my session. Just a second, it needs password. Okay. So now let's imagine the designer have designed this fan. This is the parametric model. So he have created the different spline angles which change the bed profile. He also made the parameter, the fan radius for to vary the number product variants. So so now he wants to analyze this fan for multiple physics. So first he's starting with like fluid scenario creation. So in fluid dynamic engineer role, we have a new offering called geometry based workflow, where geometry idealization becomes really easy, and with a few clicks a user can get the fluid extraction. He can create the enclosure, which earlier used to take a lot of time, which other simulation tools do not offer in the market. So the geometry has to be created manually, and that reduces designers' interest to do the simulation. So with this geometry-based approach, a designer can quickly create the MRF region around the fan, then extract the fluid domain. So which some of the capabilities I'm going to show now. So since this fan is already a closed geometry, so we did not need to close any openings, and a designer can just follow this assistant panel, which is very intuitive and guided workflow. So each steps would be like a designer just need to follow the each step, and once you complete the stage, uh, it is going to show the right click option. So that means that stage is completed and designer have to move on to the next stage. So let's now create a bounding box, because you need an enclosure over this fan to create the MRF region. So creating an enclosure now is really easy. So you just have to give the support, and the different type of enclosures can be automatically created, the box, cylinder, and the sphere. So of course we need a cylinder for this case. So I'll just select the cylinder from the screen. I can define the radial and axial offsets. It can be unidirectional or both directional. Each direction you can specify the different size. So for now, I'll just create like using the 7 mm, and axial radius. I can keep 10 mm for now. So with the preview, you can visualize it, like whether you have generated the proper enclosure or not. If you are not satisfied with it, you can just change the clearance and again preview. So right now I'm okay with this, so I'll click just okay. So now you have seen like I have created the enclosure geometry. So this step has turned green. Now we'll extract the fluid volume, but a designer was intelligent. He was already I have created this wind tunnel and wind tunnel divider, but like how he can extract the fluid domain, which is going from this dome, and this is divided by the uh, wind tunnel divider, also the enclosure created over the fan. So this also becomes very easy. A designer just have to click on the interior volume, and basically for the support he can just drag on the screen. So all the supports have been selected. He can just verify from the tree structure. Here newly created enclosure also automatically got added, and he can just extract the fluid domain. So bingo, that was easy. So similarly, a designer can do the simulation setup with this guided workflow. I'm not going to show each and every step. I'll just click cancel. Just a second. Oops. Sorry, my session, I think, got crashed. Can you give me a second? I'll just relaunch it.
Is it your full Simulia session or just a connection?
I think there was something happened with my remote machine.
Yeah, it looks like remote desktop just crashed. Ketan, you have about 5 to 7 minutes more. So if the machine is not firing up again, please use the backup videos.
Yeah.
In the meantime, are there any questions that you like to raise that we can exchange on, or any comment?
In the meantime, a comment on my end, because from time to time when we've been creating the packages, I got the feedback from some partners also, yeah, no, a designer is not going to do fluid simulation. I think you've seen with the way how easy it is to set up a simulation. It's really changing what you can do. And yes, designers do a lot of simulation. I mean, when we're looking at our sister brand, SolidWorks Desktop with embedded simulation is a key element of their total go-to-market. They have a pretty high adoption of users. And with the simplicity, the guided workflow we're offering here, it's even a different level in terms of capability, functionality, and also ease of use. And another very important point is if you've set up a simulation once and now you want to refine your design because the current KPIs are not fulfilled, so you got to do a change. You don't have to build it over and over and over again, but you just change the geometric properties and just tick update and run again. Ketan, what's your remote session doing? Because else, please use the videos in the PowerPoint.
I'll suggest to go with Mahesh. We can talk about structures first, and then meantime, Ketan will reopen his machine, and we can come back to him if we have time.
Perfect.
Yep.
Then Mahesh, floor is yours.
Yeah, sure.
Time is short.
Yeah, I'll share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Yes.
Yeah.
So, hello everyone. My name is Mahesh Chitnis, and I'll be talking about the structural integrity part of this workflow. Now, the objective is to perform a static analysis for centrifugal forces on the fan and a frequency analysis. So, previous to this, the fluid and the plastic simulation is already done, and now I'll be getting inputs from the plastic simulation and performing a structural simulation. And you can see some of these ModSim values like automated FE modeling, integrated workflow with 3D experience multiphysics like fluids and plastics, and temperature and residual stress transfer from the plastic simulation, and also the accurate results since we are using the Abaqus nonlinear solver. And these are some of the steps that we will be following. Now I will take you to the live demo. Yeah. So this is the model that we have. Now I already have the finite element model created in this, but I will show you how you can use automated finite element modeling tool to create this mesh. Now this is the automated FEM feature. You can use user-driven option. Now in this, since we have only one part, there is only one product visible here. We can actually select the, let's say, tetrahedron mesh. Now here, it's a rule-based meshing. So you can actually select the mesh rule, which is already loaded in this. Yeah. So this rule is already loaded, and now we can also create abstraction shapes and solid section as we create the mesh. Okay, so now if I just click run. It will create a finite element mesh and also the solid section. Since there is a okay, so since we already have the mesh, it is not allowing to create a new mesh, but this is the mesh that is already created, the tetrahedron mesh. We can review the mesh, and if we think there are any modifications needed, we can actually use the local edit specifications to refine this mesh further. So for now, we'll accept the default mesh. Now on this mesh, we already we have the solid section created. Now, since this material is already applied to the part, we see this material, but the plastic, the fiber orientation is not captured in this. So we can actually specify the orientation, and here we can use the we have multiple options like import material orientation, import fiber and material orientation. So from here, we can actually select the plastic injection simulation, which is already performed. Yeah, and we can use pack plus cool simulation and the step. Okay, so with this, and there are other options also like the axis system. So we can use the local axis system in this structure. Okay, since it is in the okay, let me take you to the actual structural case. Yeah, so we have this local axis system selected, and there are some other advanced options. So with this, we can actually capture all the material orientation and the fiber orientation from the plastic simulation that we have already performed. Now we are done with the finite element meshing. Now we will go to the scenario creation. So I already have the scenario created here. In this, the first step that we will take is capture the temperature coming from the plastic simulation. So since we already have the material properties captured, so here when we select the external field, it will automatically capture this plastic injection simulation. Okay, and yeah, we can select the auto options. And similar to initial condition for temperature, we can also capture the initial stress from the plastic injection simulation. Okay, so this will ensure that the residual stresses in the plastic injection simulation are carried forward to the structural simulation. Now we are done with the meshing and the initial condition setting. We'll now apply the boundary condition. So here we have already created a publication for the face, so that we can use here. Okay, and after that we'll create the load, which is the centrifugal force on the fan. So this is for the whole structure, and we'll select the axis for this structure and provide the rotational velocity. So with this boundary condition and loading, we will use the static step. So in this static step, we'll select the default settings, and this completes our setup for the static simulation. And then next step in the same scenario, we'll set up is for the frequency analysis. So in this, we'll use the default Langsos solver, and we'll submit this simulation. Now I'll directly switch to the results. Yeah, so we can see that we have this results for the displacement in the static step, as well as the von Mises stress. So we can, the stress is 44 MPa, which is well within the range. And now we can also look at the frequency results and different modes of this frequency. Yeah. Yeah, so with this, I complete the structural simulation for this part. And I think I will now hand it over to Ketan for the fluid and the plastic injection demonstration.
Thank you, Mahesh. Apologies for the interruption earlier. I'll just share my screen again. So meanwhile, when Mahesh was explaining about the structural simulation, so before that, I was explaining the fluid setup, how the guided assistant panel is intuitive, and how a designer can leverage that to set up the simulation. On top of that, he can also perform the parametric design study, since I already explained that our fan was parametric. So a designer wanted to study for 3 different parameters: the 3 angle and 1 angular velocity, that is a flow variable, for which a different speed of the fan, how his fan is performing, how much torque it is generating, how much pressure rise it is creating. That's what he wanted to analyze. So those are the response variable he have set up in the baseline simulation. Now with this design variables and this matrix, a designer can analyze different design matrix, how his design points can vary. So for now, we have solved like 15 design points, but a designer can do more than this. So now designer can also change and analyze like ranks, change the design points according to the rank. So now he can quickly identify which one is the best. So the blue color one is the best rank on. So when you select any of the design points, the respective design variables and the response variables are listed on the right hand side column. So let's say I want to analyze this point, then this is rank 4, because my last talk, the torque and the pressure values are different. So objective was to minimize the torque and maximize the pressure difference. So for this results, these are my respective design variable. A designer can also put a filter. Let's say he wants to minimize the torque, so nothing is acceptable about 25. So that if he applies that filter, my design points get reduced. So anything is above 25 becomes invisible points, and only 8 points are active. So this is how we can quickly explore different design spaces. And not just that, like if he put like 1 to any of these simulations, and he can also compare them side by side. What are the ranks for those design points? What are the design variables? And what are the respective response variable? If he wants to freeze this design, he can generate the alternative for the in detail analysis. So this is how he can use the parametric design study app. Now let's move on to the plastic injection. So let's say a designer have said, so again, like for plastic, the setup is very intuitive. It's only 3 steps. In the first step, you just contribute what is your plastic part. You just select. So here we have selected the part body. You can see only this part is contributing because this is a plastic fan. Then material, you can choose from the rich material library that comes along this plastic. So for now, we are using the material. I'll take which is having the glass fiber 25%. So IME comes with 4500 and more material from the leading suppliers, and this materiality database is updated from time to time. Then a designer can quickly put the process settings. So what is my pressure profile, how much time it needs to be in the pack and cool stage, what could be the cooling time. If designer doesn't know in advance, then that's fine, solver would automatically suggest that. But if somebody wants to override this, they can do in the process setting. So by default, the solver tells how much time it would need. And then in the last stage, designer just need to provide the injection location. So typically all the designers would know where the injection location would lie on their design, but sometimes if they don't know, they can leverage this auto injection location capability and do the injection location. Let the solver decide the injection location. So with this 4 steps, a setup is completed and simulation is ready to go on cloud. So in the interest of time, we are directly switching to result. We have already solved the simulation. Meanwhile, if you have any question on the fluids, on the plastic sides, you can post it in the chat window.
Okay, so actually, I think that we can even go for questions for both sessions. You know, we didn't have the time to cover the full elements. So
yeah. So I'll just quickly cover a few of the results which are important from the designer's perspective. So designer can look at the weld lines because typically designer wants to know where the weld lines are, because those could be important from the structural perspective. So where the weld lines are located, so there the structural integrity can be less. Then so designer can look where my mold coming from different direction and fuses. So there the weld lines are created, and usually with the higher angle weld lines, the issue becomes more critical. Then a designer can also check for air traps. So based on that, a mold engineer has to decide where to provide the vents in the mold, or the designer have to make the necessary changes in the part so that the air bubble doesn't trap inside the part while manufacturing. Apart from that, a designer would also be interested in the warpage. So what would be my total shape and how my part is going to deform after manufacturing. So here the warpage is around 3.4 mm, and designer can quickly look at what would be my location of the warpage, maximum warpage, and accordingly he can make the necessary changes in the design. But most of all, he can also see the impact of the fiber, how my fiber is oriented in the design, and then this fiber, how it is affecting the structural strength. I think we have already covered that part where Mahesh have already used this existing fiber from this simulation. He just pointed to this simulation and used this fiber orientation to check the reinforcement and directional strength. So I think that's it from my side on the plastics and the fluids.
Thank you, Ketan.
Thank you.
Andreas, do you want to take some of the questions that are online?
Yes, I think two are still open. One question partially answered in the chat already. Will this be available together with the demo workflow that was shown by Monique before? It won't be part of the workflow itself, but there are some bookmarks inside the demo. So we're currently considering to add these contents in the bookmarks. So if someone says, okay, the template for the structures looks nice, but I'm interested in whatever, then you can just go to the bookmarks and pull out the simulation stuff. Furthermore, another question is when it will be available. Mahesh and Ketan are currently preparing this with a very detailed step-by-step training. So we're putting this currently together and plan to release it mid-December. And we're also discussing with first geos an approach for so-called targeted enablement. So we'll have very specific enablement sessions around these topics for this fan workflow. Next question, who can create these simulation scenarios? Is it complex? Frankly speaking, if you're able to handle CATIA to design such a part, you can also do the e-learning, ask Aura, how do I do this or that? And you can learn and master it. It's not super complicated. If you have a skilled design engineer, they will be able to manage it. I think that's all the questions.
There's a question about material.
Okay. Find the desired material. How to add the material library, Ketan, I would rely on you. I guess the material for the plastic injection is meant.
So this material library comes with this plastic injection engineer role. On the cloud, if you click on the plastic injection engineer, if you have access to that, then you can install the content available in it, so that you can download the library and then you can import it on your session. So once you import it, would be always be there.
Perfect.
Last question about FMK, AMI. Andreas.
For the demo center, to be discussed. I think if you bookmark it and give people the chance to react on it quickly, we should also be adding it to the demo center, but to be aligned on our end. Yeah. Good suggestion.
The license and the role are associated to the demo in the experience center. So this is something that you don't have to manage. You get it. This is really the benefit of the cloud demonstration. You get it in 2 minutes with everything which we set for you. You have access to the role and to the data and so on. Yeah. Very fast.
Okay. Maybe you can go to the different materials we are delivering for you guys. So let's share.
Sorry.
Do you want to make something?
Quickly. Quickly. We just would like to show adoption material, because here we are talking a lot about pre-sales. Just to take the opportunity to mention that also we delivered with Simulia a lot of adoption material that are really targeted for the user. Adoption means when they bought the license, they bought the solution, they have access to a lot of material available either in community or in EduSpace, and addressing all the different level for each users, beginning, intermediate, advanced, and for each package. Remember, in this package, we have also embedded the training, so the full library of EduSpace. So they have nothing to buy on top of the license, they get by default access to all the content. And if I show you, quickly, basically, you have already access, in the CATIA user community to a lot of material dedicated for the different package. And if you take the first one, just to mention, basically here we have a journey which is starting by all the different content in terms of e-learning and modules and so on. But not only, we have also developed some dedicated videos, some 3-4 minutes video for users, so they can get rid of long training sometimes, and so on and so on. And all of that is available, of course, in the community. But for the first role, which is a mechanical essential, which is available in the online store since a few days. So if you go there, where you can actually buy the role with a price, and some partners that are part of the program can also host that on their own portal. You have also access to Getting Started dedicated for this role, where you will find also all the different content in terms of video, e-learning, and so on that you can access directly here from 3ds.com. And that's really just the beginning. We have developed a lot of materials. Simulia also is developing for simulation the same content in the same manners and so on. So it means that the CATIA designers, you were asking question about is it difficult to create scenario and so on. It's all embedded in this material through the learning and so on. It's really easy. And all of that also, as mentioned by Andreas, is also available through Aura in 26.6, because Aura have access to the documentation, EduSpace, and community. So when you ask question to Aura, basically, you will get directly in the session, in Simulia and CATIA session, the how-to based on what you are looking for. So we are just at the beginning. I think the AI here is opening a lot of doors and bringing a lot of possibilities. And also, Pascal, you want to show where you can find all this material?
Yes.
I think.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Frederic. So I will share my screen again. That one, just in a couple of minutes, wants to show you where you can access to the different assets to use for CPE. So you get my offer for CPE, and on the home page you have something. When it's happened to be displayed, you have it's coming. Yeah, you have this button, this links button, that get you access to the most demanded pages. Then you will have the 3D Experience PLM Express here. And then if you go there, you have a few pages. So you have the umbrella pages, where you can find for sales and tech sales all the general aspects in terms of assets for the PLM Express, for the 3D Experience PLM Express. So short presentation, client presentation, elevator pitch for different persona, and for sales, for the tech sales, Frederic is with his team is having also a 3D Experience design and simulation, I believe, PLM Express. So I let you go there, but just before, and then on top of that, you have also access to the portfolio roles, so which we make the different bundles. So we can go and you will be accessing the role at the 2026 level. So back to the umbrella pages, you have those different sections. So the replay of the webcast, of the former webcast we did beginning of October. The special offer today, as of today, the 3D Experience PLM Express is coming with a special offer available on Q4 and very potentially on Q1 and potentially on Q2 next year. So you have all the term and condition of that offer. You have the technical training on marketing, so you have access to the online store. So Frederic has shown us what is available for now. By end of year, you will have on this store all the different bundles that will be available on that. You have also the marketing have developed a landing page on 3D Experience PLM Express on the 3ds.com. So we have link on that. For the customer, so again, for the salespeople, you have the client presentation. We have also developed, so elevator pitch, I talk about that, a Q&A. So this has been building up with your questions during the former webinars, plus we'll add it up with that webinar. We have started to have an objection handling. Of course, so this is something that will be augmented along the time with different interaction and feedback we'll have. So we'll have a sales kit. So this is the sales kit for PLM Express, so simulation engineering. And Frederic, I will let you go there. And to finally, we have all the IMD initiative that goes with this 3D Experience PLM Express. So Frederic, do you want to show the sales kit for design and
basically you will get everything, really standard stuff here. So the access, of course, to the demonstration, to the experience center, but also customer facing in terms of technical introduction, and we'll improve that. All the document about user adoption that I was mentioning. And also something which is really interesting for you guys, technical competition analysis, where we really position our package VS unique graphics and Autodesk package. So where especially in graphics, you will see that you have much more for a lower price. And then all reference, customer, and so on. All of that dedicated to design and simulation.
Okay, thank you. Anything else to add on that, on the team?
One comment that I might raise. So in your different geos, there is a referent that is handling the 3D Experience PLM Express offer from a technical point of view. Some of them have been in today's session, so be sure that you will have the support with the teams in your geo to support you and answer to questions that you may have. Also, in order to continue, as we said, with those webinars, there is those different materials that are made available, but your insights are more than welcome. If you have any questions, please do so. I think that if we have remaining questions, you can put them in the partner portal as a comment to the invitation of today's, and we will include it to the list of Q&A that we are currently having. Then we have 1 minute left. Moez, I think that you wanted to raise a survey. I will suggest that we keep this minute for you to have the time to answer.
Yes, they will have directly. So thank you everyone for coming to this webinar. So when you will close this webinar or when we will end this webinar, you will have access directly to the survey. So don't hesitate to give your feedback so we can improve the next webinars.
Okay, and for those of you who have the possibility to do the morning time slot for Europe, so that's targeting mainly Europe and Asia, the next webinar will take place on Tuesday, the 25th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
To our speakers.
Thank you. Bye.
Very
Bye.
good.
Bye.
Thank you.
Et t'es sûr donc c'est une survey, c'est pas un poll?
Tout à fait.
Ok. Ok, merci. Bye bye.
Merci.